Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. Jesse, Rudo, Megan, live on the pregame show as the Avs are taking on the Minnesota Wild. Things have not started well for the Wild, to put it nicely. They scored a lot of goals. Let's be fair.
Everybody did.
So did their opponents. Their opponents scored a lot more goals. Let's put it that way.
I think the Wild have, in their last few games, more combined points than the Nuggets or the Broncos do, I think, this whole season. So
it's a rough.
It's been a lot of goals.
That's a high bar to get over, but...
a lot of goals.
Anyway, on the other side of it, the Avs have had 3 days of rest, so... certainly shouldn't see any tired legs like we did against Calgary or anything like that. Georgiev getting the start for the Avs tonight. Let's start with expectations for the Avs tonight. Is this they're the better team from start to finish, or is this one you're expecting them to have to grind a little bit?
Because of the history with Minnesota, this is a team that gets under their skin, and so I do expect that they're going to have to apply pressure at different points throughout the entirety of the game. I don't think they can let up on the gas after a strong first period, because I think Minnesota will respond, especially because they have not had two good first games. I expect Minnesota to be hungry about that, but I'm basing my expectation on some of the weaknesses of Minnesota that will be difficult for them to overcome no matter what, and I do still expect the Avs to win this game, but I always say I never want them to underestimate the opponent. It's true even for a struggling Minnesota team.
Yeah, no, for me, I think it's a lot of what Megan just said. You need to have... I don't know what's happening with this microphone over here. Can you still hear me? I just tugged on this pretty aggressively. It moved.
We're charging you for a new microphone.
Perfect. As long as you can still hear me. Minnesota has stumbled out of the gates a bit.
Yep. This
is a division rivalry game. This is a team that has potential to kind of push you a bit near the end of the season. If a lot of things go right again for Minnesota, they have a chance to be there. So I think you kind of want a bit of a statement win. I don't think you need to dominate from start to finish, especially with the makeup of this Avs roster right now, with a couple key injuries. But I think you do want it to be a bit of a statement hey, we're injury depleted. You guys are still the little brother. Don't worry. You guys are still, we'll take care of you, little guy. But I just think that's kind of the game you want to see. You want to see the Avs impose their will, like Megan said, in spots.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. Minnesota, they lose tonight. That's 3. That's a losing streak.
Right.
Nobody wants to start that way unless you're the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah. Well, and especially with the way that Minnesota's offseason went, the kind of debacle they got themselves into in net that they had to trade their way out of. They lost some big contracts. And again, just, trying to play the game within the game a bit here. I think it's an interesting point, and maybe it's a bit overstated. But, you put these guys in an 0-3 hole and just plant one more seed of doubt of, see, you lost too much. Last year was an anomaly. There was too many career years.
Yeah.
I know Marc Andre Fleury's not going tonight. We'll get there in a minute. But, Marc Andre Fleury can't handle this for you. You don't, it's just a little bit of a seed of doubt if you can kind of bury him tonight. As we're, on the flip side of it, I think if it goes the other way, if you're the Avs, you're oh well.
Don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, you do, but it's not a serious impact.
Right. The cables are still warm from taking the banner up.
I know you guys just did a whole show involving things like this, but Tyson Jost, his first regular season game back against the Avs.
Yep.
Anything special there, or is this just another day at the office?
Look, this is part of the reason why I'm so skeptical of this Minnesota Wild team. Tyson Jost is the 1C tonight. Yikes. This is a healthy Minnesota Wild lineup.
Yikes.
Tyson Jost is skating in the 1C position. This is why I'm skeptical of this. Honestly, we had a show earlier today with some nice, some quotes from JT Compher. They're still great friends, all that good stuff. Sure, but this, to me, is kind of part of that statement. Go out there and bury Tyson Jost as a 1C. You know what I mean? Go kind of stick it to him. Cool, you wanted more opportunity. You want this matchup with Nathan MacKinnon? Cool, good luck. Defend Nathan MacKinnon. Shut that line down, T. Jost.
Prove it.
You know what I mean? And again, I say that as a huge Tyson Jost fan. I was a big supporter of his, big believer in his when he was here. But, like, again, just kind of a bit of a statement thing, and this is a division opponent. Tyson Jost, if he really is this important to their lineup where he's needing to take first-line center reps, they need a big year out of him, bury him the first time you play him. You can't skate with us. And it just send that message throughout the whole team, respectfully.
I'm having a hard time endorsing Barry Tyson Jost. I have an alternative wish, and it's actually for JT Comfort to elevate that third line and go toe-to-toe with Minnesota's third line, especially if it still has Matt Boldy on it, because he has been on a hot streak. I think he's 4 points, 2 goals, 2 assists. And, you know, I'd like to see JT Comfort respond, like, to avenge his fallen brother by taking on and burying their third line.
There you go.
And that's sort of the alternative approach I would like to see play out for this game.
I do want to get a little bit further into that, really more the second line conversation, third line a little bit too, but Evan Rodrigues. He's the new guy here. Yes, you have Newhook elevated to 2C, which is a conversation as well, but that's a guy who should know the systems, should be accustomed to the way the Avs play. Is there anything the Avs can do to help Erod through this early portion of the season to really get going offensively?
It's another great question, and to be honest, like, I don't really know what else you do short of flipping him and like Arturi Lehkonen and just putting him
playing with Mac is
right with the highest.
That's the only next step there is.
Right. But like for me, you've got him on a line with Val, who I think he can kind of follow, do what I do, right? Because that's the one thing that we've said about Val from day one, whatever it was 4 years ago. He does the things that the Avs want to do well. So follow that, but then at the same time, Megan, I know you talked to Erod about kind of like the mentorship role with Newhook.
Yeah.
Just go out, like, follow what Val does, but then at the same time, just go out and play and do things that have made you successful so that Newhook can have that kind of example of don't overthink it. But to answer your question, I don't think there is anything they can do. He just has to get that going. Like, point of all that being, I think they've kind of put him in the best situation they can, and it's just kind of on him to, I don't necessarily even want to say take the next step, but find that rhythm, find that role, find that groove.
I do find it interesting, Megan, you bringing in Minnesota side of it. Sure, they have Kaprizov on the top line, but they have this mismatch of Tyson Jost is your 1C. Where does Ryan Hartman fall?
Weird forward group construction right now.
Yeah. So it certainly seems like an opportunity for the Avs to maybe get some certain matchups they want beyond Kaprizov. Yes, it's away. I get it. Minnesota has last change. Right. But still, opportunities arise to give guys the chance to be put in Erod in an offensive zone face-off against whoever, right? Do you think Erod needs that? Or can the Avs just roll their lines and not worry about it?
No, I think the different looks wherever they can get them, because you're right, last change, like they don't necessarily have full control over how that happens, but I think getting different looks in the game is good for someone like Erod, who the only remedy, as far as I can tell, is time with him, and getting him different looks throughout the course of a game just gives him more learned experience too. And it might alleviate too, some of the steep challenge of always taking on second line matchups as Erod. Like if he gets to see some of those depth players too throughout the course of a game, I think he'll probably excel, because that's where his familiarity lies too, is being moved throughout the roster. So he's used to taking on different matchups too. So I think that's something that would benefit him a lot.
I certainly hope so. Not that the Avs need everyone to break out all the time, but every little bit you get that isn't Nathan MacKinnon balling out is helpful. So.
I mean, how much should we have this exact conversation just at different points last year?
Right.
You need the depth to come through, and they did in a lot of situations.
Absolutely.
But, this I think that'll be another interesting thing to watch for tonight. Because, again, I just keep going back to how much Minnesota lost in terms of production and that depth, and you got so much out of guys last year having career years. Can the Avs kind of exploit that depth a little bit? And again, I just keep coming back to anything that you can do to just, because we saw it actually a few years ago the other way around. The Avs had a mental block when it came to the Wild. They could not, for whatever reason, they couldn't win a game against the Wild. Get that going a little bit this year. Any team that you don't have to worry about long-term standings-wise is good. And if you can have a Minnesota team who knows they're in this kind of weird limbo stage, say, hey, look, we have our depth outskated them or whatever. Anything that you can to just kind of separate yourself from them, I think is good in this type of early season.
I think the curse may have broke when they got rid of Parise.
Yep.
But
yep. Yeah, I think I'm with you. I don't think it counts anymore.
On Minnesota's side, Marc Andre Fleury has given up 11 goals in 4 periods. He's not playing tonight. It is Philip Gustafsson.
That's too bad.
But it's not like Gustafsson's been any great shakes either. In the game he had to come in for Fleury, he gave up 3 more goals in 2 periods.
Yeah.
Is this are we genuinely on disaster watch for Minnesota at this point? Given, look, it's not hard to go, oh, Fleury's 37, huh?
And it's almost like his season last year was prophetic as to how this year may go. He wasn't good last year. When he went to Minnesota, he wasn't particularly good past the deadline and lost the starting job by the end of the playoffs. I found it so weird that they committed to him multi-year and chose to move on from Cam Talbot. Huge gamble for a 37-year-old goalie.
Yeah, they kind of left Talbot no choice, too.
Right.
They put him in a bad spot in favor of Fleury, and I love what Fleury has done in his career, but it's hard to say it is panic time because I look at how these really aren't comparables, but a lot of people have suggested Darcy Kemper's struggles throughout the playoffs proved that it isn't just about elite goaltending, depending on the team in front of them. And I think Minnesota Wild's D is a very good league-wide comparable. It's hard to go toe-to-toe with the Avs before, but it is very good. And they're going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting, though, and even still, we're not talking about Darcy Kemper. We are talking about a goaltender that is struggling in a much different way at a much later point in their career that it still feels like hitting the panic button if I'm Minnesota.
And this is technically his 8th month with the Wild organization.
Yeah, it's not like
he had a full off season to
right.
be comfortable with the systems. Because I'm with you, you don't want to pin too much on just a couple games, and especially a guy like Fleury, Hall of Famer. Sure, but I look back at the last couple of years, the Vezina year in Vegas, that was a very, very good team. He was good. I'm not taking anything away.
Of course.
But you also had the tandem there with Leonard, where it wasn't, he didn't have to go out and ball out every night.
Fleury's absolutely the dude here in Minnesota.
He is the dude. They are going to push 60 games with him, health permitting. And look, he's 37. And what I think is going to be interesting, because Megan, I think you make a good point about Darcy Kemper and kind of how the way the Avs have approached goaltending. It's not just the Avs D-core, which by itself is, in my opinion, the pretty clear-cut best D-core in the league, top to bottom, between elite talent and depth and all of that. It's their commitment to team defense. And Alexander Georgiev talked to me a little bit about it after the first game when I said, this is your first regular season game. What did you see? What was different? What did you notice? And he said it's really fast. And he said, I'm paraphrasing a bit here because I don't remember his exact version, but he said something to the effect of, and it's amazing how committed they all are, and they don't sell out to play offense. Everybody back checks. There's sticks in lanes. They're hard on the wall. Look, the Avs' best defense in that Lightning series came within 10 feet of the Lightning net. It was just the forecheck. It's hard to play offense when you don't have the puck, and that's what makes the Avs so good as a team defensively. That's how they insulate their goalies so well. I agree with you. I think Minnesota has a great defense, but can they as a team, again, with Tyson Jost as a 1C, are you good enough as a team to insulate a goaltender like Marc Andre Fleury who looks like he may be on the decline? Or are you good enough to cover up that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just... You can get away with it when you were the Avs last year, giving up fewer than 25 shots every single night, pretty reliably.
For sure.
If you're getting into these games where you're going 30, 35 shots against every night, can Marc Andre Fleury hold up?
Even then, even if they're playing great defense, sure, the scores aren't going to be 7-6 like they have been for Minnesota, but you look at the 4th goal Fleury gave up the other night, and it's like, if your goalie can't stop that, there's
Right.
not a single guy on the team that's going to trust him back there.
Yeah.
Not
The Avs
screened. Yeah,
the
he has
Avs
hard on
need
himself. Sorry.
No, I was talking over you. The Avs need goalies to be good enough.
Right.
There are some teams that need more than good enough, and it's going to be interesting. I'm not going to say definitively yet one way or the other
course.
because
It's game 3.
Because maybe Tyson Jost does. Maybe he hits his stride and he figures out how to play in a top 6 role, and it changes the look of this team. And, I'm not going to rule any of that out, I guess. But the early returns on a big gamble in net, not great.
Also, just to point it out, I think all NHL head coaches might share one brain cell when it comes to playing rookies. Marco Rossi played 4.5 minutes the other night.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so sheltered. It's
See,
hard.
and that's surprising because, like,
Cowards. I'm just kidding.
well,
No, I'm here for the cowards.
I mean, I'm actually with you on this one because, like, that's one where it's like he's part of your plan.
Yep.
I dropped my phone, Yahir. Like Marco Rossi's like he's in the plans. We were having kind of an internal debate the other day about playing guys like Sedlak over Bowers. I was like, okay, I can get the argument of we don't want Shane Bowers to be Lucas Sedlak, so let's have him develop more, take our time. No, like you need Rossi to you need him to be a big time
He's
player.
good or you're bad.
Right. So if you're going to play him 4 minutes, send him down to the AHL, I guess, where he can play, because that does nothing for him.
Yeah.
You're doing nothing for Rossi in that situation.
Rough spot for sure. A $5 super chat from Miss Truly. Welcome back, kids. Hair looks good, Rudo. It doesn't, but I appreciate the thought.
I like it.
It'll
I
grow
like
back.
it.
It'll grow back. I guess it looks okay now. The first couple days where it was way too short, it was rough.
See, bro, it's the beard.
Yeah, it really is.
You can't go the hard shave
You're
and the
right.
hard
It
shave.
does
Yeah.
make
The
a
beard
difference.
does help a lot.
Yeah,
for
see,
me,
if you
for
kept
sure.
this level stubble with the full shave, I think you'd be in great shape.
It'd be all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I start and it's like, well, now it's all got to go.
Yeah.
So.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Anyway, any final thoughts going into tonight's game?
Megan, I'll let you go first.
No, maybe.
No, I'm too silly. I need to calm down.
Barry Tyson Jost.
Yeah, I was like,
No,
just-
we're not pairing Tyson Joseph. I'm thinking more like Curtis McDermott first goal.
Oh, let's go.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Curtis McDermott would fight Tyson Jost. I was like, whoa, that's way
Whoa.
worse. I meant
Whoa.
figuratively,
I mean,
eat up the matchup.
I seriously doubt that option is on Blaze's bets, but
You guys want to hear them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course we want to hear him.
Didn't come out.
Wow.
slacker.
No, it just stopped working for whatever reason. It just went all bad. So Colorado Avalanche -1.5 / over 6.5.
All right, so
So it's the
Avs,
same game parlay?
It's like a two.
Avs on the puck line, which is they got to win by 2, and an over of 6.5 in the game
Plus 500.
is plus 500 as a 2-part parlay,
Miko anytime goal plus 130.
and a
I like
Miko
that.
Miko
That's a good
anytime
one.
goal plus 130.
Really like that.
Get a hat trick against him last season.
Yeah, I'm with AJ on that one.
The best human over half a point -130.
And Devontae's for over half a point at minus 130, but that's free money.
That's easy.
Yep. So
I-
I said Devontae, so go in there. Personally, I took the Avs to win on the puck line. It's actually solidly plus money on the Avs to win by 2. So when you get plus with the Avs, you usually take it.
It was weird that they were dogs the other night.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
That had to be the first time in...
Months.
I mean, what? I mean, pre-playoffs at least,
I
right?
guess I didn't check the preseason odds.
Yeah.
Sometimes they know the lineups are going to be garbage in preseason, but
Yeah.
we're-
See, but even then, Vegas doesn't usually buy into the,
Yeah, they
the
know-
momentum ups and downs.
yeah.
The only one that I could maybe think would be Game 4 of the West Final when they were down Kemper and Kadri.
yeah,
Maybe.
after Kadri got hurt.
Yeah, but I mean, other than that, it's got to be. It's been a while since they were underdogs.
Either way, go get your money on DraftKings. We're going to wrap up the pregame show. Have a watch along coming to you in 5-10 minutes
There
here
you go,
before
Miss
puck
Truly.
drop.
Good for you. Hell yeah.
So,
I don't know what that has to do with the show, but fucking right.
Get high when you can get
Yeah,
high.
yeah,
all right?
yeah. You can do whatever you want.
We love all of you. At least I will be talking to you in just a few right here on YouTube.